the redistricting process is all about self-interest largely, and politics, and not just self-interest of the individual members, although a lot of people would say that is the dominant factor. But who has power, who gets represented, and by how much?
Who doesn't?
Well, and who doesn't? And in addition to the self-interest of the obvious kind, where a member wants to protect a district that he can win, there's also the self-interest of particular groups: African Americans, rural voters, Hispanics are going to be a big one, and trying to draw a map where that reflects the actual the way the state looks in terms of its political power is difficult and ripe for all kinds of political shenanigans, and that's going to that I think will dominate everything else. When you're so worried about protecting your own district, it's hard to sort of get involved in arcane pension legislation. And I also, Tom Feeney, when he was the speaker, was asked why that process had to be so political. And he said, just because it is politics, and you can't take the politics out of politics. There is nothing more political than who is in the legislature, who gets to represent people. And it's impossible to, now this year, boy, this year is going to be really interesting because we had a couple of constitutional amendments passed that basically said you're supposed to draw those districts without taking into account politics, without taking into account your party, your own personal interest. And almost universally, the legislature said, well, we don't see how we can do that. I think maybe for self-interested reasons, but also I think legitimately. How do you draw those districts without trying to protect incumbents? Well, we're going to find out this year.